Alright, Netflix is come and gone. We done our show. Here's a review. I'm going to say this. If you watched me for a certain amount of time, you know that I don't care about what the promotion is. I care about what the promotion presents. I care about how to present the wrestlers, their characters, their storylines, the wrestling itself. If the company can actually make sure that they produce the show correctly, like showing that you could see what's going on in the ring, the lighting, the audio, if the fans are interactive, I try to give you a very fair, straightforward, and honest review. I don't personally care. If I like TNA more than AEW, WWE, that doesn't make a difference. I will give you a fair assessment of it. Or if it was the vice versa of either AEW more than WWE, TNA, or WWE for that matter. I'm just going to give it to you straight. And after watching the first episode of Netflix, I can tell you this. Was it good? No. Now I want to make this clear. This wasn't the ring work. We got 4 matches. 4 a 3-hour and 3-minute show. 4 matches. That weren't that long each. They weren't the issue here. I will talk about the matches, and the best match of the night was, and I'll explain, was the first one, but I'll explain this. If you were watching this on Netflix, counting on what, and I want to make this clear, the way that I'm going to explain this, if I can explain it correctly. If you got a subscription Netflix, which, well, I had to find an alternative because I don't have that type of money to be blowing every month. But even if I did, let's make this very clear, honestly clear. When you get a Netflix subscription, there are several tiers you can go through. I watched different tiers of Netflix covering WWE. I know I can say TKO. I'm just doing WWE right now to make it short. I feel sorry for those people who had the lower tier. Because if you watch the show, and I know I can do this at the end. I'm not doing it at the end. I'm telling you right now. If you watch this episode of Monday Night Raw, the first episode, if you didn't have the highest tier possible, which I'm going to tell you was not that great either, you would be pissed off. I'm telling you right now, do you know how many commercials you got, not counting the WWE commercials that you usually get, like 2 or 3 before the match happens, or 4. You had nearly 7 to 10 commercials before there's any ring activity, before anyone does a promo, before anyone does an interview, before there might be a fight. None of it was good. That was between 10 to 7 commercials each time. In some cases, you only got maybe 10 minutes of wrestling, at least a couple of them, depending on, of course, your tier. And this is going to fucking suck if you got a lower tier subscription to Netflix. Now, obviously, you can just wait until it's over and just try to see it on replay, which maybe many people will. But like I said, I don't have a Netflix subscription. I was able to see it in another way. But counting on if they don't throw commercials in with those videos, which they normally wouldn't, you would be pretty damn pissed off. Legitimately pissed, wanting to watch it live, and all you saw the majority of the time was commercials, not counting WWE's commercials. Oh, it was so bad. But let's get to the ring work. There's only 4, I'm about to do 3. It's only 4 matches, so it'll be quick. We will talk about the good stuff, and we will talk about the bad stuff. But that was one of the worst things of the show itself. There was one of two. One of two. And I'll explain that in a minute. First match, the Tribal Combat. This was the best match for the entire show. I'm sorry. It opened the show, which I was kind of surprised. I thought it would be the second to last, but they didn't want to take anything away from Punk and Seth Rollins, so that's why it was first. I'm going to tell you, I wish it had gone last. Now, we already know that The Rock came out earlier before the match happened, talked about him now becoming an official High Chief. I can't remember what the name of it, his new name, title is. I don't remember. But it is High Chief something. I can't remember. He has now been bestowed that title, I believe, by the reigning king back in Samoa. He was given that high moniker. Even though High Chief Peter Maivia already had it, now The Rock does. Dwayne now has officially gained that moniker. And when he came out and he was talking about how wonderful Netflix was and kissing the ass, that motherfucker was kissing ass so bad. You got them showing the executives on the skybox and kissing their ass so bad. It was like his lips already had stains over it, and it was not red lipstick that he might have got from a woman kissing him. That was from their ass. Boy, but that is what he had to do. He's an executive himself. He wants to make sure as the vice, I believe it's the vice chairman taking, whose position, he's going to do what's going to make the executives of the new place they're working, Netflix, happy. So that's what he did. So I know he had to kiss some ass, which he did. So that's fine. But was the match good? Yes, it was. Yes, the match was good. Then we got near the end, and once the ref had been grabbed and pulled out by Tanaloa, then we get pretty much a Jacob destroying a Roman. We get the regular suspects. We got Jay. We got, once we saw, how can I say this? Jimmy, of course, Jay wasn't there. He had his own match. But Jimmy, I kind of wish it had been Jay. But since Jay was going to be working with, I still feel Jay should be the current tribal chiefs. I know I'm botching here because for me personally, Jay Uso, main event Jay Uso, should be the tribal chief. I'm sorry. He should be the real one. Not Roman. Not Solo. Not Rock. It should be him. But he's not involved in it, so it's what we got. We got Sammy, we got Jimmy, we got Kevin Owens nailing at one point a Roman to help Solo, because since Solo broke away and KO believes that since he's the only one that did break away, he respects him the most and willing to help him, we got this match at the end with a big cluster, which was fine. It was okay. But we knew Roman had to win. And he did. And he did win. Solo did not acknowledge him. He did not get on his knees and stand in front of Roman and say, I acknowledge you, out of respect. No. He rolled out of the ring, and as Paul was about to come in and put the Ulafala on, we see the Rock coming out in his glasses, his shades, gets in the ring, asks for the Ulafala, and he's the one who puts it on Roman. They shake hands. Like, you son of a bitch from, the Predator. You son of a bitch. That's what we got. And a hug and hearing The Rock say, I love you. So, what we got was a High Chief placing the Ulafala on the Tribal Chief. But I have to say, and this will probably come up sooner or later, who is higher in rank? Is it the High Chief or is it the Tribal Chief? It's going to be a big question which one is which. Sooner or later, I think that's what they're going to be going with when it comes to WrestleMania. We're going to find out which one of them is the true chief of the Anoa'i family. We will find out which one is higher than the other. And I'll tell you, I enjoyed this part of the show. It was wonderful. I did enjoy seeing this match. Next match, we got Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Of course, we had Raquel Rodriguez as well as Dom. And here's where things get a little strange. Hearing Dom curse at Pat McAfee, shut the fuck up. This is where I think there's going to be some issues when it comes to Netflix. And I will talk about this with the bad stuff. But hearing Dom literally say openly out loud, and the mics picked it up, shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay, they're able to curse, of course. But is that the wisest thing to do? Is it necessary? That I will talk about that later, but that is what we got. The match was alright for what it was, but it was obvious Rhea was going to win because it was time for a changeover. We needed it. I wasn't against Liv. I wasn't. Rhea had to win. And I thought Liv did actually very good for what she had been given. She worked with Judgment Day. She worked with Dom. She worked with Raquel. All of it pretty much was not bad. I didn't have a problem with it. And in the end, she lost. And now she's no longer a champ. And then what did we get? We got at the end, we got Dom trying to be nice, putting his arms out for his old flame and get kicked in the gonads for his trouble. Once, of course, we see Rhea kissing the title, putting it on the ground. She's acting like she's about to hug him and then kick him in the nuts. You know, I hate that. I hate that kick nuts thing. Now, for me personally, and this might be a bit of a surprise, you would look at me and this puck experience, how can I explain this? Where you probably wouldn't believe. But in actuality, the real me, even though I'm a very friendly and shy person, I'm a little, well, at least at the time, unfortunately now, I don't think I can handle it like I used to. Of course, I'm much older and I still am disabled. But when I was young, I was one of these rare individuals. When you kicked them in the nuts, I didn't hunch over. In fact, I got pissed off and actually went at you. A few guys who kicked me in the nuts were surprised when I should have hunched over and tried to grab at the neck. And my ex-wife also thought she could get away with it once as a game, and the other time when she legitimately was pissed off at me. And I'm not a person that likes to hurt people, so she forgot. She went, okay, I'm sorry. I said, good. I didn't try to hurt her. But I'm that type of person that does not, well, at least at the time, take a nut shot and just hunch over. I just get pissed off. Weird, right? I will tell you, seeing him on the ground and then hearing, and the reason I brought this up is because we're hearing how the commentary team is trying to work with this new style. And you're hearing a Pat as well as a Michael Cole trying to hope that Dom never has kids. And I'm like, really? It sounded really messy. But let's say it was not 100% bad, but it just sounded messy because I think they were allowed to do whatever they wanted, or they're telling them what they want them to do and they're trying to implement it and it just seems sloppy. But the match was fine. I liked it. And the interview afterward, when you see a Damian Priest with a Rhea Ripley, I did enjoy that. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and show your respect for the Queen, the new World Heavyweight Champion. And that made me think, why did you say the Queen? Charlotte. That is probably the prelude to when she will return. Don't know when, but that probably will be the little tidbit that we've been given. Next, Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Now, there was no stipulation here. They said this is going to end, but there was no stipulation. None. And I felt like it needed it. Something that would add to, excuse me, going on Raw. On the first show, felt like it needed a stipulation. It probably would have been good to have a stipulation. Wasn't one. Match was good. People love Jay. I'm telling you, that boy is so over. Shit. That boy is over. He is living large, man. He is that over. And I like it. I'm glad to see Jay is so over compared to anyone, because I've always liked Jay. But the match, even though it was fine, and Jay won, Jay did win. It needed more. It needed more. I felt like it needed a stipulation, so when this feud is over, they could just split off and there's nothing else going on. But there isn't. So we had a good match between the two. It was not bad. It was easily serviceable. It was good. But it still felt like it needed more. And I'm like, fuck, man. And also, what was the guy named Kevin Scott, because I don't keep up with hip hop or rap. When Jay came down from the fans going yeet yeet, he's there holding a beer in his hand, not open, and smoking a blunt right next to Jay and next to everybody there. Now that is going to be a question mark if they're going to keep doing that or letting someone do it, but that's what we got. It was a little awkward to see something like that. This wasn't a pay-per-view. This was Raw that showed kids as well everybody. And I'll try to cover more about this when it comes to the bad stuff, but I thought I would at least mention it because it was here. Final match, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It was a good match, but I did not feel right that they started doing each other's moves. I felt like that's a very bad cliche. I would have rather them just stuck to their own moves and tried to get them over, or better yet, do some new moves. I would have liked to see new moves from Seth or Punk, at least enough that it felt a little fresh. But they, instead of doing something new, they went to each other's playbooks. And I felt like I didn't want to see that. I don't want to see Seth doing a GTS. I don't want to see a curb stomp from CM Punk, which he didn't really do, but he was doing some of Seth's stuff. And it just felt like it really did not help the match near the end. Yes, Punk gave him 2 GTSs, as well as Seth gave 2 GTSs. Seeing the fight outside the ring was good. I did enjoy that part. But seeing them start doing each other's moves, it turned me off. Not that these guys are bad wrestlers. It just, I felt like it wasn't necessary. But Punk won. But now, what next? I don't know. This is supposed to be the end of them, or this is just beginning a much more broader feud. Where Seth said he's going to take care of him, but he didn't. So what does Seth do on the next Raw? Overall, all the matches were fine. They were fine. I liked the matches. They were not all trash. They were all perfectly fine. Perfectly good Raw matches. Fine. And here is where we're going to go to the good and the bad of Raw. First, the good. The opening. I'm not going to put any images in here. I don't want to put any images. I want to do this video and then upload it. But when they showed the ring and showed the 17,000 strong, and we saw like projections, large projections put onto maybe canvas, and we were watching as Triple H was narrating what was being on the screen to a certain extent. I could tell you, I was enjoying it. This presentation in the very beginning of the show, I really did like. I really liked it. This was the thing I was really like, damn, this is pretty cool. I mean, it's not the first time anyone's ever done something like this. And I don't think the WWE's ever done it, at least to that scale, where the canvas was so big, it reached all the way to almost 80% of the ceiling of the arena. And I really did like it. The fans were highly active in the very beginning and practically almost all the way through the show when the wrestling was going on. So I was enjoying that. I enjoyed it. And seeing the fans very invested in seeing when they were showing the footage of someone painting pictures of Hogan, painting pictures of Rock, painting pictures of Cody Rhodes, of Roman Reigns, showing footage of all the people that has come before and that are current. And that's the future. I like that. Seeing the New Day becoming more heelish and having 2 segments, not just one where they asked to have some time to talk, but a second one in the back, I thought good. Seeing they're actually invested in making sure this heel turn for the New Day actually means something. And the New Day, for their credit, you seeing Xavier Woods coming out, maybe with some juice, maybe with some liquor, don't matter. He's drinking it, and they're trying to play up how this place in Cali sucks. That it sucks. And it was good. Seeing again after it was over, and that they were being bothered by Alpha Academy. And I don't remember who the comedian is. I don't usually watch him, but I know of him. and he was talking to New Day, and I felt that was okay. Because it wasn't outside with all the fans, it was in the back. And that he's messing with New Day, saying New Day sucks, along with Alpha Academy, which will be the next ones that will basically get their ass, well, their shit kicked in more. Better to say that. And I'll say that was alright. That was a good segment. Seeing that, the vid packs we got for The Miz getting tricked into a match with the Wyatt Six because of Kieran Cross having his wife there who got, and I gotta say this, the women's titties all look magnificent, including Scarlett. Seeing a lot of this right here, that part of the titty that everybody loves, seeing the chest. It was lovely. So all the women, whenever they were on screen, they looked all glamorous, and some of them were showing a little bit of titty. I really haven't been very invested in Final Testament and The Miz, but I will say it was alright, because they're trying to set something up. I don't know if it's good or not. Seeing John Cena come out, and let's make this clear, John Cena is very corny. He is. There's just no way you can just get past it. John is just John. He's corny when he's acting in his persona as a wrestler. And saying that he hasn't had a win in over 2,400 days. I think it's 2,437 days, I think. I don't remember. But it's over 2,400 days. Easily over that. 2,400 plus. I will say that at least they're going with continuity, which is good when it comes to him. And him saying that this is his final run, that he thanks everybody, and of course, thank you, Netflix. Kissing ass. Gotta wipe that brown shit off his mouth. Because he was going, you gotta kiss that ass. He's gotta kiss that ass. That's what he did. I understood it. And I would tell you this. When you think of John Cena entering the Royal Rumble, because he's already made it very clear. He was joking around saying, wait a minute. Royal Rumble? At 30? And trying to figure it out, kind of like doing a little tiny bit of Scott Steiner, trying to do the formulaic thing of Scott Steiner. There's no one who can do Scott Steiner of 33 and a third, and you got 21% chance, and you know when it comes to a Samoa Joe that he doesn't stand a chance, and he has 117% of a no chance to be. That is Scotty. Big Papa Pump. And he just did a tiny little taste of it. Very little. I will say it was effective. I didn't have a problem with it. I was alright. And, let's see here. I will say this. That was pretty much the end of what was good. Here's what we got bad, baby. We had not only the advertisement, but the presentation. Let's make this very clear. The presentation at first, in the very opening of the show, was beautiful. Like I said, with the ring having these tarps down, well, maybe canopies or tarps, and they're projecting video on it, was beautiful. But as the show went on, especially that we only got four fucking matches. If you had put 5 there, maybe 6, that would have been alright. You had a 3-hour show. You had 3 hours and 3 minutes, because they did go over what they would have normally done on USA. 3 hours and 3 minutes, because that's how far they went. When I stopped watching it, it was 11:03. They started at 8. 3 hours and 3 minutes. But what the blue fuck was that? There was more about not just ads coming from Netflix. There was ads coming from WWE. There was dead air. There was certain points, like when you were hearing a Michael Cole, when he was joking around, like, I want to do something, he wanted to advertise Goodyear, and then he was basically flat out shut it up. There was certain times when they were talking that the audio just went out, and I thought, what's going on? Is my feed gone? So I went to other alternatives that were different. They were all the same. Michael Cole was literally shut it up for some reason, and it couldn't just be because he was doing a Goodyear joke about wanting to do advertisement. Then it was the next part. Seeing that they had so many celebrities. Yes, they had NXT people there. They had SmackDown people there. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But so much dead air. No, and understand, they did have vid packs. They had vid packs for, who did they have vid pack for? They had a vid pack for Gunther. They had a vid pack for Cody. They showed footage for The Rock with his own tequila. And he's walking around talking with people, giving a hug to Cody, saying, "I'm coming, peace," and then drives away with the tequila in between his legs in the car. Well, of course, he didn't drive very far. Of course, if anybody caught him, he'd be dead meat. But there was just a lot of just emptiness. And then here comes the worst of it all. Makes my scalp itch. Hulk Hogan comes out. Here where we gonna here's your problem, bitch. I gotta take Okada. Here's your problem, bitch. I'm saying it like that. We have Jimmy Hart with a American flag playing "I'm a Real American," and Hulk comes out. Hulk's trying to hype up everybody, but then he hypes up his "I'm a Real American" beer, along with hyping up everyone and, of course, having to hype up Netflix as well. And he is literally tearing his shirt barely to show that they're part of Netflix. And what you're going to do when the WWE Netflix goes wild on you. Oh my gosh. Guys, everyone was booing him. That bad. Maybe because of, and I'm not going to say who I voted for, but due to the fact he was at possibly that was the convention for the Republicans. I'm not saying it could be that. It could also be about his former time when he said some things that people just did not like. It's a possibility that it could have been either one of them or both. Doesn't make a difference. They wanted to boo him out of the arena. I'm like, we went from an opening where Triple H was inside the ring when the tarps came down. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. It was cool. Seeing the video package that was being literally projected onto those tarps was great. The first match I felt was the best match of the show. But when you really look at this situation, look, you want to know how many ads I saw throughout the show? I say about 15 to 20 ads. And that was not counting WWE's ads. Understand, that was 20 ads, at least 20. That's from Netflix themselves. What was the name of it? Rush Prime. And then you get 100% the ads on top of that from WWE itself. And in many cases, when you had the top tier, and I'm making it clear, the top tier Netflix subscription, you can see that when the ads were supposed to roll for the lower tiers, the screen was supposed to go black. Guess what happens for the people who paid top tier that they wouldn't have to show ads? The screen goes black. And then it comes back on. The screen goes black. And then it comes back on. Within 10 minutes in some cases, the screen went black and came back on. You got them waiting in the ring for a very, very long intro. And it's not because they want to just make sure the music is done. It's because of the ads. It's because of the money they want to make. And this just didn't feel good. How was this show? Bad. It was bad. Taken away from the wrestling and the first beginning of the presentation of the show, this was bad. They need to straighten this shit out with Netflix. They cannot have that many ads. I am scared that people are going to get totally pissed off and not want to watch live. They'll probably do it on a repeat if they don't get ads on repeat. Like I said, I don't watch Netflix. So I don't know even if you do a repeat of a live show, will you have it? But that's just me. Peace.